Do not be alarmed. It's just a couple of guys. Who are these guys? 𝗟𝘂 beloved former mayor of St. Charles, lifetime educator, and Pat Crimmins, a Geneva lawyer, but he's actually okay. From Elgin to Aurora, from Naperville to Elburn, these guys are gonna talk everything. So, here's Pat and Ray.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Just a Couple of Guys with your host, my friend, my partner, Pat Crimmins. Pat, how are you?
I'm happy to be here, Ray. How are you?
Fine. Yours truly, 𝗟𝘂. We're at Preservation on 3rd Street in Geneva.
Metaphor.
Yes. We always want to be preserved.
With this heat,
Oh, with the heat. But it's very cool inside here.
Oh.
We are here today to talk to His Honor himself, the owner of Preservation, and that would be Lawrence Colburn. And Lawrence is going to talk to us not only about this establishment, but about his sister restaurant right next door, Atlas Chicken,
right?
Which also has a location in Bartlett. And he's going to talk about the Squares Pizza Pub, also in Bartlett. And we're going to talk about something new, Pat, Detroit-style pizza.
That's right.
Have you ever had Detroit-style pizza?
I lived in Michigan, never had Detroit-style pizza. We tried to avoid Detroit back in the day.
Well, we've talked about this. Detroit's on the comeback trail,
That's
number
right.
one.
That's right.
And it's ironic that in the last 2 weekends, I've availed myself to Detroit-style pizza, both in Detroit, going on a baseball trip, and then at a wedding this past Saturday where the groom was from Dearborn, Michigan, and
Nice.
They served Detroit-style pizza, and it was very good. So we'll be talking to Lawrence about how that's done and how it compares to, say, New York or Chicago-style pizza.
Right.
And so all of that takes place after, we got to pay the fiddler, right?
We got to pay the fiddler. That's right.
So we have to have a word from one of our fine sponsors, who we hope you patronize. And after that break, we'll be back with Lawrence Colburn. You stay tuned.
The Kane County Cougars are back for the summer. The best family entertainment around features sunshine, baseball, and fireworks through Labor Day. With great food, world-class entertainment, exciting giveaways, and running the bases after every game, there's something for everyone at a Cougars game. Thirsty Thursdays feature $2 beer, pop, and half-price hot dogs. And for Sunday day games, a $15 ticket will get you $15 right back in concessions cash to spend at the ballpark. Come on out to beautiful Northwestern Medicine Field this summer for sunshine, baseball, and fireworks, and make your family memories today.
Well, we're back here at Preservation on 3rd Street in Geneva. I'm very pleased to have the owner, Lawrence Colburn. First of all, welcome to Just a Couple of Guys.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
You don't not only own Preservation, but next door you own Atlas Chicken. And in Bartlett, you have Squares Pizza Pub. And there's also an Atlas Chicken in Bartlett.
That's correct.
How about talking to our audience a little bit about the diversity and the difference between all of your restaurants?
All right, that's a big question.
We only have so much time, Lawrence.
Yeah, we're going to have to limit this answer. Well, Preservation was first. We started in 2010. Started off as a contemporary American wine bar. Was a very intimate location that it started to grow pretty much right out of the gate. It's grown into this wonderful outdoor experience, again, focusing on our beverage program and just a great shared plate experience that has again, I'll use the term contemporary American cuisine, served in a very, I would call it a welcoming environment that it's just grown into something I could have never seen coming. I think we're going to get to a little bit more of that later on in the podcast. Atlas Chicken is a contemporary take on convenience food. Our first one was in 2016. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary of that one. That one sits right next door to Preservation, and was born because the then owner of the property had a vacancy over there, and he asked me would I be interested in it. And I just told him, well, I would like to own the two we did come up with a scenario where I could own the two buildings, and then the building is, I should say, so particular at a 600 square foot wooden frame building on 3rd Street in Geneva. Those just don't really exist. So what could a 600 square foot building be? It could be a chicken shack.
Or my apartment, Lawrence.
Or a very, very simple apartment. Yeah. So we started turning it into Atlas Chicken. And the idea again here is a contemporary take on convenience food, tenders, wings, bowls, great biscuits. Our rice balls are very, very famous with a lot of people. And it's been, again, 10 years for that brand. Our second location of Atlas Chicken, we took it over to Bartlett 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. We gave it a much larger environment to work in. Maybe something that is a little more familiar to the public. It has a full dine-in space, has a bar in it, etc. And then kind of the way that the preservation property grew, we recognized that we could do more inside of that property, and we created Square's Pizza Pub. Square's Pizza Pub was, or I should say is, my brainchild, like all three of them are. But the reason we decided to do Detroit style pizza is that my chef here at Preservation, Blaine, is from Detroit, and it's a style of pizza that I love. And he was like, wow, I would love to help you build Detroit style pizza, authentic Detroit style pizza. So we got to work, and about 9 months ago, we opened Square's Pizza Pub.
Is there any one of the three businesses that are more challenging than the others?
No, I'll go with no. It's the restaurant business. Like there's challenges every day. It's such a dynamic thing to live inside of. And I think, anybody that's been connected with it understands what I mean with a smile on my face about being dynamic, right? Things are changing all the time. There's something happening that you can't see coming. It's just the type of business that it's constantly challenging. And also, maybe I would even wrap this into something that I tell people all the time. I have been in the restaurant business for really my whole life. And I'm a son of a single mom waitress. She took me to the Davenport Elks Lodge to wash dishes at 15. And I've had a big life other than restaurants, but the majority of the way that I've paid for my life is through restaurants. So restaurants, I always like to say, are a lifestyle, not a job. So that's the dynamic, aspect of what a restaurant is. They're moving all the time.
Yeah. Obviously, this particular environment of restaurants, post-COVID and everything else, generally, are you recovering from that experience? There were problems with getting enough employees, all of that. Have you found that you're kind of back to where you were pre-COVID?
Yeah, I probably sit in a very interesting position for that question, because we are in a good spot, and we had kind of the product and the environment that could handle COVID.
Right.
So many of you that know Preservation know that we are at this point a 50-seat inside restaurant and 150 seats outside that is heated and covered and has, we put blankets out. We do everything we can. We do not shut down our outside environment year round. We're the only year-round outdoor environment in Chicagoland that I know of. Literally, we don't close.
It's my understanding you get great crowds as they watch the roof retract.
Yeah, it's exciting. And that was just a necessity, mother's the necessity of invention thing. We were in a position to where I had this great outdoor patio. COVID showed up, and we took it that step further. And now I have this this environment that we all get to enjoy year round. The other side, and many people that are in the restaurant business will recognize this, any takeout business during COVID exploded. And Atlas Chicken here in Geneva, as I point to that one over there, it's a takeout product. It's essentially a food truck that doesn't move. You know, you order through a window, it comes to you in a very fun alley setting with some picnic tables, but it's essentially a takeout product. So that it did well. Now, I'm not going to say it was fun navigating how to get through that. It was a ton of work, but I can definitely say that we were in a better position than most.
Obviously, our audience is Fox Valley centric. We have some ties into Naperville, DuPage a little bit. Bartlett, you know, as far as I know, they're still in the viewership. Why don't you compare, if you could, as a restaurant owner, the two communities, Geneva and Bartlett, what you've learned about both of them and how your businesses are able to flourish in those communities?
Yeah, sure. Well, Geneva being, you know, the environment that the motherships sit in, right, is kind of has propelled me forward, and this community has been just unbelievably supportive and welcoming, and you know, my kids grew up here. Like, it's at the cornerstone of all of the businesses is what we do here in Geneva, and I think it's no secret that Geneva is a very special little community, and being able to be on 3rd Street in Geneva, especially, okay, you know, other parts of Geneva are great, but 3rd Street, it's a very one of a kind of environment, and it has really helped me to be in this location. The decision to go to Bartlett and the decision to put the restaurants where we put them was, we wanted to see what Atlas Chicken would do off of something that's, you know, not 3rd Street in Geneva.
Right.
And it's doing great. And we took it over there and added Square's Pizza Pub to it. And it functions different than over here. But as a combination of restaurants, I couldn't be much more satisfied with it. I'm really lucky to be at this spot and ready to keep doing this.
As you've articulated, Atlas Chicken staple is chicken.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know if you have a bead on how you compete with places like Chick-fil-A or Colonel Sanders or Brown's Fried Chicken. You got any sense on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I think we do what we do. I think that when it comes to supporting a locally owned business, the interaction, the transaction, if you will, is just so different. Like you're helping send my kids to college. You're helping to ensure that my employees have a job. You're pushing forward a local businessman that could help your community grow. So again, your transaction there's just maybe more connective tissue to that transaction than there would be out of a Chick-fil-A. And our product is just better. We put a ton of love into it.
Yeah.
On that point, I know you emphasize the fact that your chicken is cage-free and they're raised on a natural diet. How does that play out as far as the final product is concerned?
Yeah, I think it plays out in one very specific way. The tender that we use, which is the base of almost everything that goes through that shack, other than the wing. But the tenders, and let's say the tenders and the wing, but the tenders are smaller and considerably more tender than what we call in the restaurant business a commodity tender. So the commodity tender is, raised to be big, raised to be as much meat for as cheap as you can get it, and tough. And these are very selectively sized, specifically 1.5 ounces, but there's a variable to it because it is an animal. You can't make it be 1.5 ounces. But so then
they try.
They get really close. I'll be honest with you. But we then take that tender and then we buttermilk brine it ourselves for 24 hours. We hand bread everything and get it ready for you, the consumer. And then to mitigate any larger or smaller, your tenders are actually sold to you by weight. It's a pack size, the 4 and the 7-piece tender, but we ultimately sell you it by weight to make sure that the consumer gets what they're asking for.
Well, you've emphasized that Atlas is a carry-out place. Your website does say that you serve up slushies.
That's
and
right.
there could be alcohol or not in the slushies. Talk about the slushies for a minute.
Yeah. So that's a good spot to differentiate the two Atlas chickens. The original one in Geneva, essentially a takeout. We have slushies all summer long, but no alcohol. We don't have a liquor license. Again, I talk about it as a food truck without wheels, right? But the Geneva location is a sit-down environment.
No, you mean Bartlett.
I mean Bartlett. Thank you for that. The Bartlett location is a sit-down environment. We do have 4 alcoholic slushies, 4 non-alcoholic slushies, a big bar program in there. You can interact with Square's Pizza Pub while you're in there, so you can have a little bit of chicken, a little bit of pizza.
Right.
It's really another one-of-a-kind environment, which I think all 3 of our environments are truly one of a kind. And that kind of touches another part of me, which is, art, design, etc. Those are passions of mine, and I really love creating these environments as much as anything, and just core of hospitality of mine.
And he brought up pizza.
Yes, he did. First, though, before we get there, I'm a lawyer, Lawrence.
Okay.
Why don't you just merge Atlas with Preservation? You can use your liquor license, and then we can have liquor-filled slushies all day.
So essentially, you touched on another part of the magic over here in Geneva. They are merged. They're 2 separate LLCs for the business side, Mr. Lawyer.
Tax purposes.
Tax purposes.
Yeah.
They are 2 different LLCs. But the bar that serves Preservation can serve you a drink while you're getting your Atlas chicken because the liquor license is for the whole property.
I see.
That runs through Preservation. So many people do come to Preservation, maybe potentially with some younger kids. They might end up with some chicken tenders and some rice balls, and the parents end up with Korean pork belly tacos and a crispy duck salad. And then they can get a glass of wine and a beer, and the kids can get a pina colada slush.
Nice. I also understand that our good friend 𝗍𝗶 𝗏𝘁 has legislation whereby the COVID rule of taking liquor to go, even a drink, is going to be law throughout the land.
That is correct, and we take advantage of that a little bit more in Bartlett. The consumer asks for it, so we do have our slushies available, alcohol or not, in a tamper-resistant container.
Yes, for the kids. Keep the kids away.
Yeah. And so that is an option. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get to Square's Pizza Pub, which is Bartlett only, but you serve Detroit-style pizza. I had to get a debrief from Lindsay, your PR person. I've never heard of Detroit-style pizza, and I used to live in Michigan. So first off, tell us about what that is, and then tell us a little bit about Square's Pizza Pub.
Sure. All right, so my elevator pitch on, like, if I walked up to you at the table and I said, welcome to Square's Pizza Pub, have you ever had Detroit-style pizza? And you tell me no.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that it's a pan pizza that has a little rise to the crust. It's not 3 inches deep, but it's about 1.5 inches. We get a nice fluffy crust underneath. The sauce goes on top of the cheese, big calling card. And then the cheese is out to the edge of the pan, so there's a caramelized ring of crusty cheese around there. So I'll say, when your pizza shows up and it looks like it's a little dark around the edges, we do that on purpose. It's crunchy, salty, kind of a textural bite at the end of what you do. And with one other tiny little difference, you use brick cheese instead of mozzarella, which is a much creamier texture than mozzarella is.
So do you know the derivation? I mean, how did the genesis of the Detroit pizza, the 2 guys in Detroit came up with it, or how did it happen?
Yeah, I do, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit, so I'll keep it simple. And for those that are listening, watching, if I say something wrong, hit us up. But
believe me, we get corrections all the time.
I'll get close to the story. I don't know if it's Benny's that originated it, but there's definitely the Benny's pizza in Detroit that people are really fond of. And from my knowledge of what happened, they started cooking the pizzas in a parts pan from an auto industry. I don't know which one, Ford, whoever, but
You're telling me they were making food out of an auto piece of a car or something?
yeah, and I guess if you think of it's not a piece of the car. From what I know of the story, it would be a pan that would have the line workers' parts in it as the car was moving down, so it might be full of bolts, and that bolt would go into this particular guy's job. Well, somebody along the line decided that, or that pizza pan got home somehow, and they made a pizza in it.
Cleaned first.
Cleaned, hopefully, maybe. Although we do love them nicely seasoned in the restaurant. Once you start cooking in them,
Right.
they take on some more flavor.
Well, that sounds fun. Lawrence, we're going to take a break and get a word from our sponsors at this point. But please stay tuned. We will return to talk more about Llawrence Colburn's businesses throughout Geneva and Bartlett. Thank you.
Hello, friends. There's nothing like a summer night at River Edge Park in downtown Aurora. Live music along the Fox River, the energy of the crowd, and that easy, laid-back feeling you only get when you're spending time with your friends, family, and concert crew. And this summer's lineup is stacked. Don't miss Blues on the Fox on June 20th for a day of incredible blues. Rock out with Cheap Trick on June 25th. Celebrate the holiday weekend with Lauren Elena on July 5th. Catch a high-energy blend of country and soul with 615 Collective on July 25th. UB40 featuring Allie Campbell brings timeless reggae rhythms on August 9th. Government Mule will give a powerhouse performance on August 13th. Soak up the sounds of summer with the Beach Boys on August 14th and sing along with every word with Third Eye Blind on August 23rd. It's more than a concert, it's a summer tradition. See the full lineup and get your tickets now at riveredgeaurora.com.
All right, we're back with Llawrence Colburn talking about his various restaurants throughout the valley and beyond. Llawrence, as I indicated, we had received, as of right now, about 48 emails correcting the mistake that you made. Benny's.
Yeah,
and
I think it's Buddy's Pizza.
Buddy's.
Yeah,
That was not one of the choices.
I knew I was going to mess up.
You're fairly confident.
I'm as confident as I need to be, I guess, because we're here to talk about Square's Pizza.
That's right.
Which is amazing, really authentic style, Detroit style pizza.
Above and beyond the pizza that you've described, tantalizingly, what else does what else does Square's Pizza Pub offer besides that?
Yeah, we've got a great little selection of appetizers on the Square's Pizza Pub menu. We have a fried polenta with a mushroom cream sauce.
My.
It's delicious. Yeah. We have a breadstick which comes with a garlic aioli and marinara. We have meatballs with marinara. We have fried artichoke hearts, which are our number one selling appetizer. Again, served with that garlic aioli. We have a great selection of salads, all the way from a classic Caesar, which we really, really like our Caesar, through some more just what I would call dinner salads, with a lot of what we start with are pizza toppings, and we add them to different salads on the menu.
Uh-huh.
And then, as mentioned in the earlier one, when you're at Square's Pizza Pub, you can get anything you want from the Atlas Chicken menu, and your server is there with both menus. So you have wings on the menu, you have tenders on the menu, you have rice balls on the menu, you have all the things that you can get from Atlas Chicken So it's really even through cheeseburgers, etc.
So you've combined those menus, but with respect to Geneva's Preservation and the Atlas next door, those menus are not combined. Right?
No, they are not. Yeah, they maintain a little more autonomy. The unit in Bartlett is actually one building with a 3/4 division between the two.
Okay. All right, right?
We're back here at Preservation, and you stress on your website and so on about Wine Wednesday. So give our audience a little sneak preview of what they can expect if they come here on a Wednesday, as far as Wine Wednesday is concerned.
Sure. Yeah, we have multiple bottles of wine that are available for $25 a bottle. The reason Wine Wednesday is in place is that, to kind of flush out my journey to restaurant ownership. My previous restaurant position was as a sommelier and a restaurant manager.
Sommelier.
So wine is a huge part of what built Preservation. And it's still to this day, 16 years later, a cornerstone of what we do. I do like to joke, let's see if I can get this across on tape. It's really easy to do with a guest here in the restaurant. But say you come to Preservation, but you decide you're going to have some chicken tenders and a rice ball. Well, there's not a lot of places where you could go get chicken tenders and some rice balls and a bottle of 𝗿𝗏𝗄𝗏 white Burgundy. And so because of this kind of combo space and our wine list, that's available. And I would dare say maybe one of the only places you can do that.
May I interrupt?
Yes, please.
White wine and chicken, is that your call?
A lot of people and sommeliers will tell you, and I agree with them wholeheartedly, champagne and fried chicken is a super fun wine pairing.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent?
Right. Well, fried chicken is ordinarily relatively cheap.
I
and
like
champagne is
Yeah.
kind of a high end.
Sure.
You with me?
I am. Yeah. But it's super fun. And we do have, and one of my passions is sparkling wine. So yes, we have some expensive champagnes. We probably have 5 different bottles of champagne on the wine list at any time. But we have Proseccos and Cavas and other ways that you can get your sparkling wines for a considerably cheaper price.
Leaning on that sommelier background, maybe a wine or two that you have here, and pair that with an offering you have on the menu.
That's a good question.
Here's the menu.
I know, right? And then the wine list being almost 100 bottles deep.
See?
I'm flipping through the Rolodex.
But that does show
Well,
the
let me
variety
pick an item here: hanger steak and red potatoes.
Well, the hanger steak is going to be classically paired with any of our Bordeaux's. Bordeaux and red meat, you can't go wrong. We have a great selection of Burgundies as well. I think our wine list leans old world versus the fuller fruit new world expressions of wine. We definitely have California Pinot Noir, Oregon Pinot Noir. We have we attempt to keep a list together that encompasses the world of wine with a something almost from everywhere. I also love Riesling. German Riesling is an unsung hero in the wine world that has a particular journey to it, right? We find that in the beginning of our wine drinking time, because we can lean into the sweetness of it, and then a lot of us move away from it. And then once you're really educated in wine, you come back to it because it has great acidity. It can really take you on a ride that a lot of things can't.
So, Lawrence, you indicated we're both going to be in Italy at the same time. Perhaps we could call you for recommendations.
I would love that. Yeah. I love to talk about wine. Anybody that's ever talked wine with me in the restaurant knows I'm not.
But you do have a tab on your website for craft cocktails too.
Correct.
So let me, the owner, even though I'm sure you're proud of all of them, maybe the owner can tell the audience a must-try cocktail or two from all your mixology that you have going on here.
So this is where I'll kind of back up and say, when we started, we were absolutely a wine bar. But the growth of Preservation, cocktails and beer are probably slightly more of a seller right now than the wine is. And that being said, we're talking about growth here. So it's me in a 20-seat, 25-seat wine bar 16 years ago. That's no longer the case. I'm running 3 restaurants. I'm doing a lot of things. So my staff runs the cocktail and beer program autonomous of me. And I am going to tell you honestly that they will talk to you about the cocktails and the beer because they change so quickly. They have the freedom and the knowledge of what the customers are doing, and they really do drive that program on their own. And I'm very proud of them.
That's really good that you trust the people right there in the field there to take care of things.
They have a better feel for what the customer is asking for than I do. As
Kind of an in-person algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Something that I miss having, that touch all day, every day at every restaurant, at every guest, but it's really just not an option.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a wonderful outdoor area. We talked a little bit about it. Retractable roof. I assume that the outdoor patio season is important to the business, but you also serve this patio during the winter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you have music and entertainment. How does that work? Do you have it 7 days a week, or what's the deal?
Sure. Yeah. All summer long, there is music and/or entertainment. Primarily live music. We do a little bit of trivia. Tonight we're doing Ted Lasso trivia as our entertainment tonight. It'll be very full.
Very
World
nice.
Cup games on
World
the
Cup,
TV.
yes.
World Cup games on the TV. Ted Lasso trivia is going to be a ton of fun. I think it's already sold out, but you won't see this until that day is gone.
And as always, the podcast would volunteer to a live show
Yeah.
for the entertainment.
Okay.
Entertainment purposes only.
Oh, that's correct.
Tax reasons.
I love it.
And you talked a little bit about the COVID's experience and the, getting chicken and food creatively. I assume that you're all connected with the DoorDash and the Uber and the
Yeah.
Grubhub. And so if people can't be here, they can order through those apps, right?
Absolutely. And really the Atlas Chicken brand and the Squares Pizza brands are heavily influenced by what we call in the business third-party delivery services.
Sure.
Preservation does a little bit of it. I will say that when we're in peak season at Preservation, the patio size pushes my kitchen's limits
Yeah.
pretty, independently. So we don't lean into as much of the third-party delivery services at Preservation, although we do them. We focus primarily on DoorDash through Preservation.
That gets me into the next question, which is reservations. And I assume, particularly for Preservation, they can make a reservation online.
Yeah.
And as far as, let's say, ordering ahead of time, the chicken, can they do that too?
Yeah, absolutely.
All of that online.
Yeah, all that online. Yeah.
Before we talk about your individual websites, just the last question here. We really appreciate your time today. What does Lawrence Colburn see for the future as far as your restaurant group and whether or not there's going to be any kind of expansion?
Sure. We have one move coming up right now, not necessarily expansion, but we got the Squares Pizza Pub brand going, as I mentioned previously, about 9 months ago. And we've been working on for about 2 to 3 months what we're calling a take and bake. So it's a par-baked version of the pizza. That par-baked version will be coming to the Atlas Chicken in Geneva as a limited quantity par-bakes available each night. We won't be cooking them in the shack, just to make that clear. We don't have ovens in there to cook them, but you pick it up, take it home. It's about 8 to 10 minutes in your oven, and it gives you a product that is almost exactly what I can produce at the restaurant. It really is a great product that we're very, very excited about. So 2 weeks,
Wow.
approximately,
Exciting. Good.
middle of July.
And let me finish, if I may, Ray, just one more question. We learned yesterday that there's an opening in St. Charles. The Wahlburgers
Mhm.
are
I
moving out of
learned that
their
yesterday, too.
location.
Yeah.
Any St. Charles possibilities?
Well,
you know those people don't like to drive.
yeah.
Okay.
I feel pretty satisfied with where I'm at right now, but I think you can never say never, right? Like if the right opportunities comes by, and somebody's ready to push this brand forward with me, or some scenario like that, I wouldn't say never, because I'm very, very proud of everything we do.
We'd like to provide our audience with access to all three of your restaurants online, and so let's give them those websites. It's @𝗟𝘄𝗿𝗄𝗿.fun.
FUN, fun.
All right. And then preservationgeneva.com and 𝗿𝗶𝘁 And all I can say is, Lawrence, we really appreciate you taking us through the
Thank you, Lawrence.
the trip here of all three of your fine establishments: 𝗟𝘄𝗿𝗄𝗿 Preservation here on 3rd Street in Geneva, and Squares Pizza Pub in beautiful Bartlett, Illinois. Again, thank you so much. We're going to take a small break, and then Pat and I will be back for some closing remarks, maybe a critique of this guy after a word from one of our fine sponsors. You stay tuned.
Thanks, everybody.
Hello, friends. This is 𝗟𝘄𝗿𝗄𝗏. Looking to make your next move stress-free? Meet MK Movers, your trusted local moving experts. Family-owned and operated, MK Movers is dedicated to providing seamless, reliable service, from packing and storage to long-distance moves. Their experienced team treats every move with care and professionalism, ensuring your belongings arrive safely. Plus, with their eco-friendly recycled box program and commitment to transparent pricing, you'll experience a move that's both easy and responsible. Whether it's across town or across the country, MK Movers is here to help you move forward. Visit www.mkmover.com to learn more. Well, we're back for just a few closing comments, and I would say one thing about Mr. Colburn, that is, he's a very efficient owner. He talks very clearly about what he has, what he's operating here, and there was no surprise. I think I understood the mission of each of his three restaurants pretty clearly.
I enjoyed the passion, because if you're going to do this, you have to have passion, not only about chicken, but about the idea of operating these types of facilities. He's got employees he has to worry about. So it's a big business, and he's quite passionate about it. And with the .fun and the Atlas website, that's pretty much it. He seems like a fun guy.
He talked, one of the most impressive comments he made to me from my perspective is when he talked about the wine and the cocktails and so on. He said he's a sommelier, but he's got people that are managing that aspect of the business. He put it in their lap to decide what to recommend here, there, and everywhere when a customer comes in here. I kind of like that. He's put ownership in his employees' hands. He wants to be part of the act.
The sign of any good manager or owner, I think, is the ability to delegate. And he obviously has done that. Even though he has that skill, he defers to the people that are in touch directly with the customers.
He mentioned that is at the pizza place in Bartlett. Beside the pizza itself, he has some other offerings. And when he mentioned polenta, and I want you to remember that for our trip to Italy, which, by the way, is now official.
Breaking news.
And thanks,
Paul, if you could put a scroll, breaking news.
Thanks for those of you who signed up, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. In any event, anyway, polenta. When we go to northern Italy, which is a staple over there, we're gonna have to find a restaurant where that is served, because I think you'll find that it's very, very delicate and very nice as an add-on to whatever your entree is.
So describe it for me as
cornmeal made into.
But in terms of, is it like mashed potatoes here?
Well,
a staple?
It's a starch. Yes, it's a starch. I would say that's a good analogy. Although my grandmother, when she served it, and I was a child, it'd be stewed chicken, polenta, There might be a potato on the plate there as well.
And you're
So,
telling me that you ate that stuff
oh
as a
my
child?
God, yes.
Oh,
And then then the next day she have leftover polenta and she'd fry it with some cheese out of this world.
Was this over by the coal mine that you lived
You
by?
stop at the coal mine. You in the coal mine. Actually, Commonwealth Edison was not too far away, though.
That's right.
As I
That's
recall, but not in the immediate vicinity.
There was a low hum.
In the vicinity. All right. So once again, Kevin directs us to a restaurant, and we come in and we find something new and we learn something new about another fine establishment here in the Tri-Cities, which is frankly loaded with fine restaurants. You can't go wrong.
I've never been here before, so it's exciting for me. You probably have taken your wife or something, but I've never been here, so it's a wonderful place.
One more point, and that is the uniqueness of this outdoor patio.
That's right.
It's open all year long.
That's right.
And he'll bring a blanket out there for you.
We have to talk to Kevin Sarah about patios now.
Exactly. All right, so it's time to move along those. And so our thanks, of course, number one, to our crafty cinematographer,
Always. Yeah.
Kevin Ketchum. He's always, 𝗿𝗏𝘗 Productions, always putting together a fine
And
production.
his lovely wife, who puts
Always
up with
present to keep him in check. Cindy over there in the
check.
corner, and she's give thumbs up sign. That's good. For my partner, Pat Crimmins,
Yes.
very, very excited about his sojourn for the first time to the side.
I'm
the old
learning
side.
Italian.
The boot.
I'm learning Italian on that application.
Very nice, very nice.
Arrivederci.
Very good.
I just made that up.
Ray Rogina, wishing you all a very. By the time this is on, it may be past, but we hope you've had a wonderful 4th of July holiday, the 250th. Such.
The 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Let's be specific.
And we are very independent, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. All right. So Pat and Ray,
Ray and Pat.
just a couple of guys on 3rd Street at Preservation. We'll see you soon. So long,